I would just love people to see the simplicity in veganism and living plant based, and really to join the dots and to think for themselves. I didn't. I didn't question things. I question everything now. Hi, I'm Caroline Simpson, and you're entering A World Gone Good.
Hello, hello, hello. My name's Steve, and this is World Gone Good, the podcast where we look for the light and sometimes shine the light into the darkness to discover there's still good and lots of it happening in this shared world of ours. Whether this is your first time with us or you are a repeat good offender, we welcome you. And we ask that if you like the show, why not share it with your friends on social media, subscribe, rate, and review us each. And all of these help us spread the good. You help us spread the good. And for that, we say thank you. Oh, wait, there's one more thing you can do. Follow us on social media. You can find us at World Gone Good Podcast on Instagram and at World Gone Good 1, that's the number 1, on Twitter. And it's kind of ironic that I'm pushing our social media when today's episode has a social media twist you'll never see coming. Sorry, I work in promotions. Sometimes it just comes over me like that. So I'm on the Insta, as the kids say. Yeah. And I find this lovely vegan type who is constantly posting pictures of the most amazing looking and simple looking dishes. These were before she dove into them. Nothing grosses me out more than seeing photos of half-eaten food. Don't do that. Stop it. And she follows us and we follow her, and she's like liking our posts and we're like liking her posts. And then I slide into her DM. Again, this is what the kids say, right? I'm like a great millennial. Did I do that right? Great. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I slide into her DM and I ask, hey, want to come on the pod and talk vegan eats? And she said, yes. And here we are, traipsing the globe, talking my favorite thing. Well, one of my favorite things, food. So grab a napkin and enjoy. Caroline Simpson, you are my second ever international guest.
Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me. But here's the weird thing that I need my listeners to know. Your accent does not match where you're living. Explain.
My accent doesn't match anything. I was born in Scotland in the UK and lived there for 2 years, but I have a Northern Ireland accent because I lived there for the following 34 years, but I now live in Melbourne, Australia for the last 20 years. So this is a slightly Aussieized Irish accent, and probably only an Irish ear would pick that up.
Oh my God, this is amazing though. So, okay, let's start here because we're going to go all over the place. You've lived, I don't think you probably have that many memories of Scotland, do you?
Precious few.
So Ireland versus Australia. I need you to tell my audience the top 3 best things about living in Ireland over Australia, and then reverse. Go. You're on.
Okay. Ireland, the sense of humor is crazy. We refer to it as the crack, but not crack cocaine. The crack is, whenever you're having a good time and having a laugh about something. I believe we're a breed that stands out on our own. We're very different. The third one, the green grass, the green trees, everything's green because of the rain. Australia is a little bit like Ireland, only hotter, but they don't understand the crack. So we kind of gravitate towards our own kind because they get it in a social setting. You can sort of, all about laughing, and we get it and nobody else does. Australia, I like because it's so multicultural. You don't have the political nonsense that we have in Northern Ireland that I grew up with, and that was normal. And it's a welcoming country. It's a very welcoming place to live. I do love being here. It was a good choice.
What brought you after 34 years? You must have been, I guess, doing the math here, 36 if you spent 2 in Scotland. What was the change up that made you jump over to Australia?
I initially came out on holiday 20 something years ago and loved the place. Now, I came out with my sister and my cousin. My children were with their dad at the time that he was having a holiday with them. And I fell in love with the place, but always just thought it would be a destination and nothing more. I then, in a strange sequence of events, my cousin lived in Australia, had a late night phone call with her, ended up chatting to a friend of hers. We started chatting, we fell in love. I came and got married. Took
Wow.
myself, came here, much to everybody's disgust, and had a beautiful marriage for about a year, and then that went to the shithouse real quick. But yeah, I'm still here, and I love the country. Bless long distance relationships.
Wow. Wow. Now, what were you doing in Ireland as a profession?
I was a delivery driver for a motor factors company. So I worked with men delivering truck parts, car parts, exhausts, everything to do with trucks and cars and lorries and all of that. So I did that for the last few years before I emigrated. And I loved it. It was so good.
And then you came to Australia and you came for love. What did you do professionally there, or what are you doing professionally there?
Professionally here, I work in local government for the last 15 years. I'm an acting coordinator in a team at the moment. And yeah, I've been working for, can I say their name or should I not say their name? Anyway, I've been working in local government for the last 15 years and it's great. I love it.
Now, you and I met a different way because you are one of the wonderful followers that I gained, and I followed you back on Instagram. And your name on Instagram is Vegan Food Ideas from me. Because French is from, so it is from me.
From me.
Super easy food ideas to show how simple eating cruelty-free actually is. So
Yeah.
my question, which you're sick of, and I get it all the time myself because I am a 99.9% vegan. I have admitted this before. I'll admit it again. I do eat eggs. Most of the time they come from a friend of ours who has chickens in her yard and the eggs fall out, purple, blue, green. And I do eat those eggs. I'm not going to lie. I will only eat range-free, not cage-free, range-free organic eggs if I buy them at the store. But I also know the trick, which I just learned, of taking distilled white vinegar and baking soda and doing some chemistry because it's a binding agent. It's exactly like an egg. You can put that in any baked good and your cakes and your cookies all hold together. But here's the question. Enough about me. When did you become a vegan and why?
I'm vegan because I love animals. I always considered myself an animal crackers. Absolutely loved everything that had fur and tails and just was an animal lover all of my life. And when I was vegetarian for 10 years and thought that was doing, a good thing. But when I actually listened to a YouTube video from Gary Yourofsky called The Best Speech You'll Ever See or Best Speech You'll Ever Hear on YouTube. And I was horrified. I was just horrified that I didn't realize what went into these industries. I just thought like the majority of people that cows made milk, and that was where milk came from because I was a cheese lover. And I loved eggs, and I didn't realize what the egg industry was about. And so an hour later, my life changed 8 years ago on the spot, and I've never gone back. I was horrified beyond belief, and I was so self-critical about it. I just couldn't believe I was so stupid. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. It's the facts are hidden well by these industries. The dairy industry is horrendous. I mean, who would take a baby from its mother? And the egg industry, they grind day-old babies up alive in a macerator because if they're boys, because they're no use to the industry. So I don't want to be any part of that. I love animals and I don't want to hurt anybody. And then sort of the longer into my journey, I'm not health conscious. I could be doing with losing 15 kilos, but every now and again I get a bit healthy, and I like to be sensible with what I'm putting in, and I'll eat only plant-based as opposed to vegan, which isn't necessarily the healthiest option. And then the planet, what we're doing to our planet. with animal agriculture and the stupidity that we have around, everything being disposable and just throwing things away. And yes, so that was a long answer to a short question, but primarily for the animals and then for the planet and for health.
Yeah, it's a connection, I think.
Yes.
And I think it's an amazing connection when you make it. And I'm not judgmental of anyone. My whole family still eats meat. And even one of the things for me beyond that was I don't microwave any food.
Mm.
It my education in that, my research in that has shown that it kills pretty much every good aspect of what is in your food. It kills all the vitamins. They've shown that if you put a glass of water, there's this whole test. They took two plants and they put a glass of water in the microwave and they microwaved the water and they fed one plant microwaved water and the other plant tap water. And the plant that got the microwave water, they let it cool down, but they poured it in every other day. That plant was dead in a week and a half.
Really?
But the plant that got regular tap water thrived. And it's because that's what microwaves do. So I, years ago, had all these stomach problems and I had a gut on me. I look like Santa Claus. At least that's how I saw myself. And I stopped eating microwave food and I felt better in a day and a half. And I drive my family crazy because my mother likes to cook all of Thanksgiving the night before and then microwave it all. And I'm the kid who comes and goes, Mom, can you turn the oven on and heat up the food? And she groans and goes, okay, for you, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
But there is a connection there. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever known anyone who's watched one of these animal cruelty movies, documentaries, who hasn't had the reaction that you and I have had?
Yes, my son.
Really?
My son. Believe it or not. Who is it who would class? He's got a rescue cat. He's an animal lover. But he has quite. I love you, son. He has quite a gentle arrogance about him, and he says, "I love my cheese. I'm not giving up cheese. Yes, I saw it. I know the facts. It doesn't concern me." So I haven't disowned him yet. But him and his wife eat quite a bit of plant-based food, just by way of nothing to do with my preaching over the last 8 years, but just because they've got a bit of sense, about their health and that. But yeah, he would be the primary one. He didn't.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were going to say, no, I've never known anyone and we're right about everything. No, I mean, I had a friend a few years ago at work, a very good friend of mine, Eileen. I call her Elaine. It's an inside joke. So I'll call her Elaine on here. She'll be listening and she'll know I'm talking about her. But Elaine had the flu that we all got that went around the office. This is years ago, but she couldn't kick it. And she was sick for like a week and a half or 2 weeks. And then I saw her. I said, "Are you still sick?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Would you just try something?" And she said, "What's that?" I said, "Don't eat any meat, chicken, fish, dairy, anything." I said, "Cut it all out." I go plant-based for 3 days.
Yeah.
She did it for 2 nights. And then I'm not kidding, by the third day, she came up to me and she said, "I feel 500% better." Why did that work?
Yeah.
And I said, because the science is there. The ability of our body to heal itself is hindered when we're trying to break down meat, chicken, fish, eggs, milk, all those things. And so that was just an interesting moment between us. And then I'm very proud of her because she said because of that, they went to Meatless Mondays. Which I think is terrific. I think anyone who does that, is that something you support? Meatless Mondays? Not like you're going to say you don't support it, but I mean, is that something that happens in Australia as well?
Yeah, we have Meatless Mondays. I didn't used to be a supporter of the Meatless Mondays and the baby steps because I thought, well, we're not babies, we're adults. Just see it, do the right thing, and stop contributing to these freaking horror shows. But I've mellowed slightly, maybe over the last year, as in not mellowed, as in I don't support anything that's not vegan, but that people, you have to meet people where they are, and I would have had a real intolerance for people just not getting it on the spot. But I'm more understanding of everybody's on their own path. They receive information differently to how I receive information. So planting seeds, doing the baby steps, for want of a better word, and like your friend Elaine, having the evidence that it does work for you, that your body will heal itself, you'll feel better on it, then you'll wake up to the fact that you're not contributing to anybody's suffering and death as well. So yes, we have the Meatless Mondays and Veganuary, and we've got all of that. Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who are doing this intermittent fasting. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of this exact thing we're talking about. Because sometimes I think, and this is just me thinking, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, not that I don't believe in intermittent fasting, but I also believe, well, if you cut out the meat, chicken, fish, dairy products, you might not have to do the intermittent fasting at all because you're allowing your body a break and you're saving the planet and you're helping animals. So there's all that, on top of it.
Absolutely. If you're eating clean, if you're eating what nature intended you to eat, which is what's grown, you really can't go that wrong, unless you overindulge in it. But, if you're eating natural plant-based foods, you can't go far wrong with it. You really can't. And the fasting, I like to fast a few times a year. I'll sort of get sensible. I usually will do it for 7 to 10 days. I'll do a fast, but I've done as long as 28 just to see how I felt on it. And I feel like a different woman when I fast. I don't enjoy the short fast, like the 1, 2, 3 days, because your body's still starving. It really wants the food, and you've got the headache and you're tired. But once you get into the longer fasts, it's like you connect to everything on a different level. You don't have that stuffed down, I don't know, spiritual connection to things. I find it a very spiritual experience, fasting, and I do enjoy it. What people need to be aware of if they're on medications or what their health issues are, what they're doing, they need to be a bit sensible about it too. But yeah, I love a good fast.
So let's talk about you on Instagram. You had the opportunity, obviously, like all of us, to open an Instagram account and put up lovely photos of your vacation, make us all jealous, and or of your super hot, brand new, spanking body and car and lifestyle that, again, makes us all jealous because you put it through all of these filters and we all are jealous. Basically, Instagram is to make me jealous. But you decided to go with vegan food ideas from me, and I want you to tell everybody what that is.
It came from whenever I was on Facebook. I'm on Facebook to follow up a couple of friends at the moment, but I primarily closed my account because I can't do Facebook. It's just such a negative space for me. I just can't deal with it anymore. But I had a really good sub-page on my Facebook account that was from the start of my vegan journey and the foods that I was eating, because I needed everybody to know how easy it was, that it wasn't hard, and you could, it was just so simple. So when I closed the Facebook page, the guts of a year ago, then I reopened another Instagram page, and it was to do the same thing. It was to show people I'm not a chef. I'm not even a good cook. I cook what I like to eat for me, but it's easy. I can veganize the crap out of anything. There's nothing you can't veganize. And it was just to show people, look, you can do this. You don't need to put a whole lot of thought into it. I would personally live on French fries for the rest of my life. What doesn't concern me as long as nobody's suffering. But there's people that want to, have a bit of variety and, mix it up a bit. So I just kind of, if I cook something and it looks or tastes okay, I'll throw it onto Instagram. So that's the vegan food ideas from me. It's to show, that it's easy.
And are you hoping to inspire people to go vegan, or are you just hoping to inspire people to begin the path to enlightenment? What are you hoping for?
I would just love people to see the simplicity in veganism and living plant-based, and really to join the dots and to think for themselves. I didn't question things. I question everything now. But I never questioned where my milk came from or where my eggs came from, or the health ramifications with what you're actually putting into your body. And I know you're saying that you like your eggs, and I used to love eggs as well. But there's medical evidence now, depending where you look, that if you're eating eggs regularly, it's the equivalent of smoking cigarettes to the damage that it does to your body with cholesterol. and affecting the plaque and the buildup in your arteries and stuff. So for all they taste good, they're not good for your body. Your body's not meant to eat chicken's eggs, no matter how good they taste. So I was at a cafe that I visited a couple of weeks ago called Soul Pods Food in Croydon South in Melbourne, and they had eggs Benny. Well, oh my god, they were so good. These were fake eggs, for want of a better word, and they were delicious with the hollandaise sauce, and it was just so good. So yes, it's different. The alternatives are different, but there's nothing wrong with different. It's just not an egg. It's not a chicken egg.
Do you think that people are just overwhelmed by the fear of making the change?
People, yeah, look, there's 10 different conversations going through my head with that one on the spot.
Give me all of them.
People don't want to have to, even pre-COVID when life was simpler, people don't want to acknowledge it. You need, for me, once I acknowledged veganism and what I needed to change, it was an eye-opener, and I felt so bad about what I'd done. So people don't want to feel bad about their decisions. I don't even know how to answer that one way, Steve. Yes, people think it can be a big deal. And I suppose depending on where you are with nutrition information and things, you might want to look into, a bit more in depth into the nutrition side of things if that's your bag. It's not mine. But yeah, people can be, and people just don't want put out of their comfort zone either. They don't want to have to think outside their box and add another thing to their to-do list and read labels and, cook.
Well, you just said it, pre-COVID, we lived a different life. And COVID, I've said this before, anyone who's listened to the podcast is like, oh God, here he goes again. COVID was a flick of a switch. And I've told this story before. It was on the show I did with Christy Hines a while ago, who is a life coach and is amazing. I was telling her about the day that I went to Trader Joe's, which is a supermarket here, specialty supermarket. And it was in the panic, and it was when people were all running in and grabbing everything they could. And there was a woman, a mother, standing in front of a completely open, barren meat case refrigerator. And she was on her phone hysterically talking to someone and saying, there's no food. There's no food. And everything in me, this is when we could still go near each other and didn't have masks on. Everything in me wanted to just turn her about 40 degrees to the right, because all there was fruits and vegetables and grains and even bottled sauces and pastas. And I'm like, there is food, but your identity and relationship with what equates a meal was in that meat case, and it was taken away from you immediately.
Yeah, I fully get that, because even whenever I became vegan, you were sort of conditioned to the meat and 3 veg, and I felt obliged to have a mock meat on my plate.
Right.
Because I thought I needed to have a mock meat and 3 veg, not just a plate of vegetables or, a massive, I do crazy salads. I don't just have lettuce and tomato. I have everything in my salads. And, it was just, I felt I had to have meat. So as such as the conditioning that we have, you need your meat and your 3 veg, you need your calcium. And that poor woman, looking and thinking that was it, probably thinking her children were going to starve because there was no meat.
Right. Do you have a favorite go-to breakfast, lunch, and dinner easy idea that you can share with us for each meal?
Oh, easy. My favorites. I just love food. I don't so much have favorites. I just love everything. I love my smashed avocado on toast. Can't go wrong if the avocados are good. It's heaven. I love fried bananas on toast with maple syrup drizzled over the top of it. That makes the house smell beautiful. What else do I like for breakfast? I just love cheese on toast. We've got a multitude of vegan cheeses over here. For lunch, I love making soups. I love one pot wonders that you can throw everything in, cook it for half an hour, blitz it, and it tastes divine. So I love my. I made a cheesy cauliflower and broccoli soup last week that is delicious. We did carrot and pumpkin, celery, mushroom. The soups are the easiest. I love a big plate of roasted vegetables. I like easy food. I don't like complicated things. I don't like to have to stand and read recipes. I just like tasty foods. The easiest thing to do is to go to the Instagram page and have a flick. You'll find something. I mean, I'll show you ice creams and biscuits and drinks and alcohol. Anything that's vegan and cruelty free is on there that I found for me. So
I have a slow cooker and I make what I call fat burner soup. And I call it a fat burner soup. It's not really burning the fat. It's not like magically going to burn your fat off. But why I like it is it's an all veggie soup that I make in a crock pot. I let it sit for 6 hours. And it's even better the second day because I always say everyone gets to know each other, as I like to say. But I like to blend it up in a little magic little bullet that I have, like a little blender, because I like it all creamy like that. And I've read that the body absorbs a lot more of the good stuff when you give it to it that way. But there's also the reverse, which is it's great to eat it chunky and regular style because there's all the fiber and the breakdown that you need there. I will share too much information. And again, this is one of the magic moments on my podcast where I say, I'll probably edit this out, and I won't. When I blend it, I can pretty much go through the whole night and not have to pee. If I don't blend it, I will be up every hour on the hour having to pee because I think my body is extracting what it needs slowly.
Oh, very good. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that, but please good.
No, I won't. But the other thing I make a banana peanut butter with a splash of almond milk ice cream. I chop up bananas and I freeze them.
Yeah.
And I put them in a little mixer.
Yeah.
And then I get the peanut butter in, and if you want to be crazy, you can throw a little splash of Frangelico or Amaretto or Kahlua, but Kahlua has cream in it, so we're not going to go there. But you can throw that in, and you blend that up. And a friend of mine pointed out when you do the non-alcoholic version, she pointed out you're making dog ice cream, and I was like, oh, well, I like it too. If he likes it, then I like it too.
Oh, happy days. Yeah, I made that. I did that this year as well. In the summertime, I did the banana and peanut butter. But I also made a smoothie, and it was frozen bananas, peanut butter, a couple of dates, and 2 shots of coffee.
Oh, yum.
And soy milk, and it was so good. It was so good. It actually tasted alcoholic, and it wasn't, but it was so good. It was really nice. Bit of a
I love throwing dates into things. Yeah. It gives it a little bit of. It also gives a little bit of like chunky chewiness, like if you were like eating like a blended ice cream.
Yeah. I love keeping my medjool dates in the fridge and taking them out and chewing them on. It's like chewing toffee. They're so good.
Now let me ask you one question. Where did you learn all of the stuff you learned? Did you just explore on the internet? Did you speak with people? Did you read? Where did you learn these recipes from? And also just the transition that you made?
My transition was instant. There was no transition. It was on the spot as soon as I saw that video. And like I said, I literally didn't care what I ate. So I started to Google. If you do a Google search for vegan recipes or put a food in like shepherd's pie, vegan shepherd's pie, that's one of my favorites. You'll get a million recipes. Google is your best friend when it comes to veganizing things. And not so much talking to people. I was pretty active for a few years with on-street activism for veganism and cruelty against animals and that. So I made a few different friends over the years, but not so much talking about recipes and stuff. I really would have just been, what do I like to eat and how do I veganize this? How do I make something creamy? Well, I'll throw my cashews in when I'm cooking it. What do I replace meat with? Well, you can use your lentils, and like my shepherd's pie I used to love it in the bad old days. Whenever when I was eating meat, which we used minced beef for shepherd's pie, not lamb, minced beef. So in my shepherd's pie now, I'll use red lentils and green lentils, carrots and onions. I'll use the Masal plant-based stock, which you'd swear you were eating like a chicken stock. And then in the UK, we have a gravy thickener called Bisto, which darkens and thickens, and it's accidentally vegan. And I'll use that for the base of it. And then the mash, I'll throw Parmesan or cheddar into it and mash it, and then it'll go into the oven, and it's to die for. And my brother-in-law, who God forgive him, is a dairy farmer, ate it and didn't know that it wasn't meat. So
Wow.
yeah, you can veganize. There's nothing you can't veganize. There's a lot of stuff just comes down to personal taste. It took me a long time to find cheeses that I like because I used to love cheese, but I found an absolutely delicious camembert. Lately, we've got the cruelty-free shop over here that you can order online from, and they have a gorgeous camembert and a lovely aged white cheddar that I indulge in every now and again. And yeah, there's nothing you can't do.
I make a shepherd's pie, but I have now what I do is I take Beyond Meat or I take Impossible Burger meat, and I use that as the base.
Yeah.
But what I do is I put frozen peas into it.
Yeah.
I put some frozen spinach. I mix it all up. My hands get very cold. I'm not going to lie, people. I put garlic in it. I put salt, pepper. I put some onion powder or onion flakes in it, and then I line the bottom of the pan. And then what I do is I love corn. God, I'm obsessed with corn. I know that corn is basically sugar. Corn is the sugar of vegetables.
But it tastes good.
So I do a layer of corn, and then I do the mash like you just talked about, and I do the exact same thing where I sometimes do the corn, and then I put the vegan cheese over the corn, then the mash, because what happens is the vegan cheese melts in between and holds the corn kind of in place.
Oh, sounds so good.
We end these shows with 3 questions. They're easy, easy, easy. You know the answers. Don't panic. The first one's simple. Where can people find you, and where can people learn more about what you do and how they can, very easily veganize their own life?
My Instagram food page is Vegan Food Ideas from me, and my ordinary page is Caroline Vegan #4 Life. So Caroline Vegan for Life. And there'll be old recipe photographs on that page. It's more activism and meditation on that page now. And what was the second part to that question?
You nailed it. The next question, you're perfect. The next question can reflect back to anything we already talked about or anything you want to say. The question is simple. Who inspires you?
Oh, my mom, my little mom, my little 4'10" mom in Northern Ireland. She had a hard existence raising us, and she did it. And she did it with grace, and she did it with dignity. And I can't live without her. She's just, I'm 55, she's 74, and I still need her. She still gives me advice. She still talks to. She's vegan too. She followed me about a year after I went vegan. She became vegan too. So she's a little activist. She'll leave her pamphlets about the place and tell people. But my mom inspires me.
And the last question, again, can reflect back to anything we already talked about or anything you want to tell me. It's really simple. Tell me something good.
People are good. People fundamentally are good and don't want to do the wrong thing, don't want to hurt people, don't want to cause strife in the world. So they just need to give them the right information to let them make better choices, and everybody can change. So humans are good. Humans are good.
Now, normally I end the show right here and we stop recording, but on that note of humans being good and people can change, I'm going to make you a deal based on our conversation. I will stop eating eggs.
I love you. Can I say F? I effing love you.
You can say that. You can say any F word you want.
I fucking love you. Good on you. Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Your body will thank you, and people will look at you now because you're vegan, and you'll be able to say, I don't eat eggs because, so good. It's a good message. Good.
Oh. Well, look, you did my show, so I got to do something for you.
I love them. Thank you, Steve. That's awesome.
All right. Well, the next time I'm in Melbourne, we're having a drink somewhere. And the next time you're in Santa Barbara, California, I will take you to Modern Times, which is a vegan pub. And the wine, the beer, all the food is 100% vegan. And you will not even know where to start eating. We will eat like kings and queens.
It's a date. I love it. Yeah, you come to Melbourne anytime, and I'll take you around the vegan end of town over here. It's we've got some good spots here too. Awesome.
Thank you, Caroline, for sharing your good. Follow her on Instagram at Vegan Food Ideas from Me for delicious and healthy eats. Next time on World Gone Good.
I want to be able to find indigenous tribes that have no way of selling their products, that live in extreme poverty. And I want to go there and I want to pay them a stupid amount, 10 times more that they would normally be able to get. And then be able to ship that to the United States and then sell that on my website so people can support these tribes that without I guess the word that people like to say is colonization.
Aaron Murphy, or as he's better known on social media as Murph's Life, is a regular guy who is doing tremendous amounts of good and posting stories on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to inspire all of us to join him in his good deed doing revolution. I am not gonna lie, by any normal quotes in the air standards, his story borders between adventurous and completely insane, all of it for the best reasons possible. I discovered his videos on Instagram, I bawled like a baby, I donated to his cause, and then the next thing I know, I send him a DM and say, hey, wanna come on my podcast? And he writes me back a second later, sure, wanna record right now? I'm available. He's got huge energy and huge dreams and a huge heart. If you've ever questioned, what am I doing with my life right now? Just wait until you hear what his answer was when he asked himself that very same question and changed his life for the good. Until then, you be good.